Over 2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ was executed on the day that we have come to call Good Friday. He was executed as a political prisoner, but he was executed because there was the alliance of the Roman government that was occupying Judea, that part of the world at the time, and the church, or the synagogue. The fact is that the two conspired together to accuse Jesus of being a political prisoner, but also a spiritual one. He was preaching and teaching things that were not considered to be quite right. And so the establishment conspired together in order to present him for trial. And on this day, in that year, over 2,000 years ago, he was presented before the authorities. And one of the authorities, the state authority, said, "No, I don't have enough evidence to convict him." But the hierarchy of the church at the time said, "Yes, you do, because he is saying blasphemous things about the God that we worship." So fast forwarding, here we are. It's year 2016, and we once again commemorate Jesus' death upon the cross. Now, the cross was a terrible way to die. It was, the person would die of asphyxiation from being strung on the cross until one could not breathe, and also from thirst, because all of the fluids within the body would be sweated out in the heat of a desert summer afternoon. So it was a terrible way to die, and it was outside the walls of the city, and hardly anybody would ever, no one would visit there, and no one would know, except for those who did the execution, as a few people. 3 women, we have in the gospel, say were accompanying Jesus and were with him in his dying moments. So what this has to say about us is that once a year we come together, we in the church come together to remember the fact that Jesus was crucified on the cross for saying unpopular things and teaching unpopular teachings. And because of that, we call this Good Friday, because it prefigures or looks ahead to the next 2 days, Easter Day. But for now, we recognize his death. We recognize the fact that we have cooperated in not telling the truth sometimes, and sometimes being a part of those who would harm Jesus and harm the truth. So this is a day of sadness. It's a day of recognizing the truth of the fact that actions have consequences for all of us, and it's a day for us to recognize that we need to rediscover courage in our own lives, to stand up for that for which we believe, even when to do so could perhaps bring us some degree of suffering. So on this day we have come to know as Good Friday, I leave with you a prayer of the Book of Common Prayer of the Episcopal Church, appointed for this day. Let us pray. We glory in your cross, O Lord, and praise and glorify your holy resurrection. For by virtue of your cross, joy has come to the whole world. May God be merciful to us and bless us, show us the light of his countenance and come to us. Let your ways be known upon earth, and your saving health unto all nations. Let the peoples praise you, O God. Let all the peoples praise you. We glory in your cross, O Lord, and praise and glorify your holy resurrection. For by virtue of your cross, joy has come to the whole world. This is Father Steve Norcross, and I send you every blessing on this day, Good Friday.